Hello everybody, this is Mark. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about macro photography with my Lumix FZ10002 by Panasonic. It's a bridge camera, so there are no interchangeable lenses, macro lenses or anything like that. So with the bridge camera, I have to have certain accessories in order to be able to do macro. One of those is the diopters like you're looking at here. The +2 Kenko diopter and the Raynox 250 diopter. The difference between these two is the amount of magnification. With the +2 Kenko diopter, which is a little bit less magnification, I can stay further away from my subject and it's easier to take a photo of them without them flying away. With the higher magnification diopters, you have to get in much closer to your subject and there's a very high probability they'll fly away before you get the shot. Another thing that you really need when you want to go out and shoot macro is a flash unit. Something normally that you can attach to the hot shoe on your camera. And you also want to have a diffuser. The diffuser, what that does is that softens the light coming out of the flash and spreads it evenly across your subject so that you have a nice soft flash going in and lighting up your subject without any really bright highlights. This is what the camera looks like once I have it all set up and I'm ready to go out and start shooting. It's still very compact, very easy to use, but this allows me to go out and shoot my macro. All of the photos that you're getting ready to see in this video were actually shot with my Panasonic Lumix FZ10002 using the +2 Kenko diopter. That's kind of my favorite diopter right now. The difference is, again, magnification and the fact that with the Kenko diopter, I actually have to screw that onto the lens of the camera. But with the Raynox 150 or the Raynox 250, I can actually clip those on and clip them off. They have their good points too, because if I'm out and I happen to, there's not a lot of bugs around, but a bird happens to fly in, I can just pop off the Raynox diopter and I'm ready to shoot the bird. Whereas if I have the screwed on +2 Kenko diopter, I have to unscrew it from the camera, put it away carefully so I don't drop it, and then take the shot of the bird. And then if I want to shoot macro again, I have to screw it back on. So it's a little bit inconvenient. However, when I go out to shoot macro, I just go out strictly to shoot macro. Even if there's birds around, I won't film the birds because my purpose for that day is to go out and shoot macro. But I found that with the +2 Kenko diopter, I can get in close enough to get really, really good detail on really tiny insects, actually. I'm a one-shot macro photographer. I don't do photo stacking simply because for me it's too much of a tedious process, and the software is rather expensive to do that. I don't have a professional camera. I have the FZ10002 bridge camera from Panasonic. But what I will say about this camera is that it's very, very capable of doing every genre of photography, including macro. I think that my macro photos stand up to macro photos that I've seen from much more expensive and elaborate cameras. So I would definitely say with confidence that anyone who has the FZ1000, FZ10002, or basically any bridge camera can shoot really good macro with those, but you do have to get the supportive accessories like the +2 Kenko diopter or the Raynox lenses. Now, diopters come in several different magnifications. However, if you're a beginner macro photographer or you're a beginner thinking about getting into macro photography, I highly recommend that you start out with the +2 diopter. It does give you that good 2 feet of distance between you and the subject that you're trying to shoot, and you're more likely to get the shot without the subject getting spooked and flying off. After you get used to using a +2 diopter, if macro is really, really for you, then you can either go out and get a +4 or +6 or +8 diopter, or the Raynox lenses. The Raynox diopters are actually a much higher quality. And for me, if you were going to get Raynox to begin with, I would also recommend getting the Raynox 150 versus a Raynox 250, because with the Raynox 150 you can still stay about 8 to 10 inches, 12 inches away from your subject. But with the Raynox 250, you have to be within 10 to 12 millimeters, which is extremely close to the subject. Again, it is a really great camera for macro. And if you are thinking about macro, but you thought maybe that your bridge camera can't really shoot macro, and to shoot macro you have to go out and buy a really expensive camera with really expensive lenses, that's really just not the case. As I said again, every one of these photos were taken with the FZ10002 and the Kenko +2 diopter. I didn't even use my highest magnification diopter because it really wasn't necessary. Another thing about shooting macro is remember that you don't necessarily have to fill the frame with your subject on your initial shot, but you do have to have pin sharp or as close to pin sharp focus as you can with your subject. And then later on, when you bring it into post-processing, you can simply crop in on your subject and it'll still be sharp. If it was sharp in the original photo size, as long as you don't overcrop, you can crop in and compose your shot later on in editing. I also don't spend money on photo editing software. The only editor that I currently use for my photographs is the default editor that comes with Microsoft. So I don't have Lightroom or Photoshop or anything like that. I don't have any of those editors. I do have a sharpener editor from Topaz AI that helps me slightly sharpen images that are just a little bit out of focus. The Topaz AI software is really great software. I could recommend that, but that's not what this video is about. Basically, with this video, what I'm just trying to get across is the message that if you really want to shoot macro and you have a bridge camera, you can. You don't have to go out and buy a really expensive camera. These are all done with the FZ10002, and I hope you enjoyed the video and found some of this information helpful for you. Take care. Bye-bye.